Yes. This is my third video of chapter 2, Changes in the World Around Us. In my previous video, I had discussed physical and chemical changes. In this video, I shall talk about exothermic and endothermic reaction, some activities, definitions, differences between rusting and burning, and also differences between burning and respiration. So let us begin with an activity. In this activity, we shall study the process of sublimation. We take some powdered crystals of iodine in a china dish on which an inverted funnel is placed. The stem of the funnel is plugged with a little cotton. Then heat the china dish on a sand bath. Why heating is done on sand bath? Because it conducts heat slowly and evenly. The deep violet vapors of iodine will rise up and condense on the cooler walls of the funnel. This shows that sublimation is a reversible change and no new substance is formed, so it's a physical change. In this activity, we shall study that a change depends upon the nature and the intensity of interaction. We take 2 tumblers, fill them about half with water, add 1 teaspoonful of sugar in each tumbler, stir the water in 1 tumbler with a spoon. Keep the other tumbler undisturbed. We will see that the sugar dissolved rapidly in the glass tumbler in which the stirring was done. So more is the interaction, faster will be the change. Now we look at exothermic reaction and endothermic reaction. So I begin with exothermic reaction. First we should know the meaning. Exo means release and thermic means heat. So exothermic reaction is the reaction in which heat is given out or heat is released. You can better understand with this picture. Whenever any flammable substance burns, heat is released. So it is an exothermic reaction. In this activity, we take some small pieces of quicklime and put them in a beaker containing water. We will notice that water becomes very hot, forming a milky white solution. It is because this is an exothermic reaction. Some more examples like respiration. In respiration, oxygen reacts with glucose and produces carbon dioxide, water and energy. That energy we use to perform different work. In freezing, in condensation, also heat is released. In exothermic reaction, temperature of surrounding always increases. Now endothermic reaction. Endo means absorb and thermic means heat. So endothermic reaction is the reaction in which heat is absorbed. Now you see the picture. When ice melts, it absorbs the heat from the surrounding. Some other examples. If we put a small amount of glucose on our tongue feels cool because heat energy is absorbed. In photosynthesis also the energy of the sun is absorbed. In melting, boiling and electrolysis, energy is absorbed. Energy absorbed can be in the form of heat, light or electricity. In endothermic reaction, temperature of surrounding always decreases. Now evaporation. Evaporation is the process in which a liquid changes into vapor. When heat is applied to a liquid, kinetic energy increases and the forces of attraction between the existing molecules decrease. And these molecules leave the surface and change into vapor state. When temperature is increased, the particles gain more energy. So their tendency to escape increases. So the rate of evaporation increases with the increase of temperature. Now some definitions. Boiling. The constant temperature at which liquid changes into vapor is known as boiling point, and the phenomena is referred as boiling. Next, condensation. The process in which a gas changes to liquid by giving out heat is known as condensation. Dissolution. The process in which a substance mixes thoroughly in another substance is known as dissolution. Example: salt in water, sugar in water. In this activity, we shall see the dissolution of sugar in water. What we do, we take a glass of water, add 50 gram of sugar to it and stir it. We'll find that the crystals of sugar get reduced in size and finally become so small that they get mixed with water molecules, and sugar solution is obtained. Now I shall discuss factors that affect dissolution. Number 1, temperature. If more is the temperature, more is the dissolution. Second, stirring. Greater the stirring, more is the dissolution. Now third, concentration of solvent. More is the concentration of solvent, less is the dissolution. Freezing. The process in which a liquid substance loses its heat and gets converted into solid state is known as freezing. Melting. The process in which a solid absorbs heat and gets converted into liquid state is known as fusion or melting. Rusting. The process in which iron forms a layer of powdered iron oxide over it in the presence of air and water is known as rusting. In rusting, metal is lost. Hence, rusting can be defined as the slow eating away of metal. Now, burning. The process in which a substance burns in oxygen to give off heat and light is known as burning. Burning is a fast process and takes place at high temperature. Now, differences between rusting and burning. Number 1, rusting is a slow process and burning is a fast process. Number 2, rusting takes place at room temperature, whereas burning takes place at higher temperature. Now third, rusting takes place on the metal surfaces, whereas burning takes place for the combustible substances. Now differences between burning and respiration. Number 1, burning is a fast process, whereas respiration is a slow process. Number 2, burning takes place at higher temperature. Respiration takes place at body temperature. Number 3, burning takes place for combustible substances, whereas respiration takes place in living organism. Number 4, burning do not involve any enzymes, whereas enzymes are biocatalysts and these are required for respiration.